Well, welcome, ladies and gents, to my review of the Terminal List. Now, making this review, I did a quick Google search of the Terminal List because I want to obviously familiarise myself with the names, although I'm likely to forget some of it. And good God, it's being absolutely slammed. I loved it. So I'm starting this review by probably thinking I'm wrong. And everyone probably hates it. But I had a great time with it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought this was a great throwback. Not even a throwback, but sort of a throwback to... I don't know. I felt a bit of Rambo in there. It's just... It just worked for me on every level. I just really liked it. And let me explain, right? So this is a Chris Pratt executive produced series. Season 1 is on Amazon Prime. Looks like they're going to do season 2. Apparently they've got big plans for this to turn it into a big franchise. And because it's Amazon Prime, I'm not sure what kind of footage I can use. They do clamp down on copyright, so apologies if you've got to look at my big dumb face. But he plays James Reese, a US Navy SEAL that gets ambushed in Syria with his platoon and comes home and basically is on a massive revenge mission. I can't reveal too much else without getting into spoilers, but this was, to me, really good. Is it predictable in parts? Yeah, it is. It is predictable in parts. But I don't always want my movie to subvert, or series, to subvert my expectations. Because I think all too often, subversion of expectations leads to trash. We want some of our expectations to come to fruition, right? Some of it, of what we expect, is satisfying. So when I expect James Reese to get a tomahawk out, or whatever it was, and smash someone in the head with it, I want to see that. And when I do see it, I'm really pleased. Right? So... to me, I don't understand why people found this to be dull. Like, I only skimmed the headlines of these reviews from very generic websites like The Guardian and, you know, all these kind of just nonsense crap. I don't think it's worth the paper it's printed on, quite frankly, and hence why mainstream media is dying. To me, this was absolutely superb. Everyone's acting. They did a stand-up stellar job. Chris Pratt, for being such a wholesome, down-to-earth, good guy Christian, because he sells this badass role, which goes against everything that he is as an actual individual, as a person, which really goes to show his range. And he's done this a few times now, and I think he really does sell this role. He really is good at this. He's an action star in this series. And then there's the other nonsense headlines that you see going, oh, it's a right-wing revenge fantasy and all this kind of crap. And it's like, stop politicising it, because it's not. If it was right-wing, it wouldn't it wouldn't tackle corporate greed, which is part of the element of this series. There is corporate greed. You know, it wouldn't tackle that, right? Like, it wouldn't. That's not a right-wing thing, to tackle corporate greed. I understand right wing and left wing have kind of gone a bit off kilter these days, but that's not a right wing thing. Anyway, James Reese, US Navy SEAL. The action, and again, there'll be people that have gun experience which will be able to tell me whether this was good and accurate or not, but I think that that action stuff was brutally done. Like, I've had food poisoning the last few days, so I've just been sitting on my arse in multiple places watching this stuff, and this really got me through. You know, it was highly entertaining. It's 8 episodes. They're 49 minutes to an hour long each. They are miniature movies. The production sort of values on this are really high. really high. Like, I watch something like this with the amount of explosions, the amount of cars, the amount of chases, the amount of carnage and damage, and I look at this and I go, well, this is incomparable in terms of it, its difference to like James Bond. I'm looking at the both of them and I'm like, they're about the same, right? They're about the same. I'm not looking at them going, well, that's hugely different, right? They have genuinely exceeded the production values on this, and whether that's just good budget, they've just used the budget in that way, I don't know, but it was very, very well done. The way, and if you've seen this, because I'm going to keep this as non-spoilers as possible, but the way they weave that emotional thread through this series, it got me every time, because it was so effortlessly put in. It was put in, and then we would get, and you knew it was coming, but we'd get that emotional thread popping, and then there would be another thing which this tragedy that has befallen this man has to then overcome and deal with again and again and again and again. And it kept happening, but it was a very good way of reconfirming that we wanted James Reese to do the things that he was doing in this series, and that he was ultimately right. Right? And yeah, you do question it, because they have the other characters that pop in and go, well, what you're doing maybe is not completely right, maybe we need to do it this way. And I like that, because they play on the morality of the whole issue, but on an emotional level, you begin to connect more with James Reese as the lead and what he's doing. Just like you do with John Wick, for instance, right? John Wick kills a puppy, literally go on that whole mission of murdering everyone. Right? Just, who cares? You killed a puppy, go do it. So I think that I really cannot rate this series highly enough. I had such a great time with it. I definitely want to see Season 2. And the thing is, to me, is that this is a throwback. It doesn't need to tell a greater, grander narrative with all this other nonsense popping in. It just is what it is. A guy being a badass. You shouldn't choose violence with a man that has, dedicated his life to perfecting it. I think that was one of the quotes of this series. So good. So very, very good. If you've seen it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I did post on Twitter about it, so please do follow me on Twitter @MissTakeReviews. And some people were like, oh, a bit predictable. 100% is it. It is predictable in parts, yeah. But I want some of my predictions to come true. Predictability shouldn't be something which we tarnish a film or series with. Because the alternative, with today's standards of writing, is a complete subversion of expectations. And that, full well, is gonna be garbage. So, if it's that, or this, where some of my expectations, because not all of my predictions came true. Some of it I was genuinely surprised about. Yeah, I'd take that any day. It was great, loved it. If you've seen it, let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for watching though. Cheers guys. Take care. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way. But also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we, of course, have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box, along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.